Good evening and welcome. You are watching the Newshour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Yesterday, the President announced the appointment of governors of various states. And while the mix included many interesting names, including politicians and army veterans, the maximum attention was drawn to the Governor of Andhra Pradesh. And that's because the new Andhra Pradesh governor is Justice S. Abdul Nazeer, a former judge of the Supreme Court and, more importantly, one of the 5 judges who gave a unanimous verdict in favor of the Ram temple at Ayodhya. And here's the thing, while most people are talking about this as a high-minded debate about ethics and the principle of not taking post-retirement sinecures and allowing a cooling-off period, the reality is that when in power, none of the parties who are today criticizing the appointment of Justice Nazeer as governor did anything to put their legislation where their mouth is. Today, if Justice Nazeer is being targeted, it's because of him being on the Ram Mandir bench, and to this end, his example is being taken alongside that of other judges who were also a part of that bench. Justice Ranjan Gogoi, who is now a Rajya Sabha member, and Justice Ashok Bhushan, who is the chairman of NCLAT.
Justice Nazeer साहब को राज्यपाल बना दिया गया। अब सोशल मीडिया पे और बाकी जगह पे चल रहा है कि उनको उनके 2 फैसलों के लिए, एक बाबरी मस्जिद पे जो फैसला आया उसके लिए और दूसरा जो नोटबंदी पे उन्होंने क्लियरेंस और क्लीन चिट दी है उसके लिए।
कांग्रेस को राम जन्मभूमि से कब से प्यार हो गया? अभी अगर मंत्रिपरिषद में कोई मुसलमान नहीं है तो प्रश्न उठाएंगे कि मंत्रिपरिषद में कोई मुसलमान नहीं। अगर हमने राज्यपाल बनाया तो हम अच्छे लोगों को चुन करके बनाते हैं जो मुझे अच्छा लगता है। इसमें लोगों को एतराज किया।
मुझे ताज्जुब है उनके इस बयान पे। और क्या सुप्रीम कोर्ट के एक जज को गवर्नर बनाने से कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इंप्लीमेंट होना शुरू हो जाएगा? जज को सुप्रीम कोर्ट के इसलिए बनाया जा रहा है कि वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन दूसरों से बेहतर समझता है। तब तो नरेंद्र मोदी की सारी कैबिनेट के अंदर रिटायर्ड जजेस ही होने चाहिए, क्योंकि उनके मिनिस्टर्स तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन समझते ही नहीं हैं, उनके मुख्यमंत्री नहीं समझते हैं। ऐसा बयान दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है और लोकतंत्र को कमजोर करता है।
आप चुनाव आयोग के ऊपर क्वेश्चन करते हैं, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऊपर क्वेश्चन करते हैं, हाई कोर्ट के ऊपर क्वेश्चन करते हैं कि चुनाव आयोग के जो मुख्य चुनाव आयुक्त थे, आपको पता हो कि एमएस गिल, उसको कांग्रेस पार्टी ने अपना संसद सदस्य बनाया, उसको मंत्री बनाया, और आज आप समझिए कहेंगे कि ये चुनाव आयोग इनसे मिला हुआ है। तो कांग्रेस पार्टी को किसी संवैधानिक संस्था पर जो है बिलीव नहीं है।
The question then is the appointment of Justice Nazeer being used in order to put the Ram temple verdict under a cloud again? What else explains the selective interpretation and quoting of his various judgments to only highlight those where the larger agenda of the Janmabhoomi verdict being delegitimized is successful?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us on the debate, we have Shazia Ilmi, spokesperson of the BJP, Namit Saxena, advocate. We have Abid Mir Magami, youth leader of the Congress, Anirban Banerjee, lawyer and political analyst. But my first question is to Muhammad Adil Hassan, youth president and advocate of the AIMIM. Mr. Hassan, the Ram Temple judgment was a 5-judge bench. It was given by a 5-judge bench and it was unanimous. So if Justice Nazeer was motivated, according to what your party is saying, are you saying the other 4 judges were also motivated / dubious?
But it's not about an individual, about me or my party. It's about the nation. Even the BJP, Arun Jaitley's honorable late ex-law minister told about the same thing, that there should be a cooling period of 3 years. Even the BJP ex-president, Mr. Gadkari, backed this issue. He even told the same thing in the parliament.
Right at the outset, yes, there should be a cooling period.
What is wrong to
but why does everyone remember this only when they are in the opposition? I am saying right at the outset, yes, everyone should come together and bring a law to this effect. But that is not my question. My question is, why has your party today tried to connect the appointment of Justice Nazeer to his presence on the Ram temple bench? What is the connection?
It is everything is clear. Everything clear before the country. even because BJP government changed the goalpost time to time. In Arun Mishra got extension, in Lutyens every time. Justice Goyal, Justice Agarwal, the same in Kerala Chief Justice got Human Rights Commission chairman. Why not? We will question this government. It is our all right to question the government. It's our
please question the government and don't say people of India, because people of India are not saying that Justice Nazeer is being rewarded with a governor's post because of Ram Temple verdict. It is your party which is saying it.
The law minister of the BJP.
Sir, my question is again.
Supreme Court is supreme. My leader categorically told, my leader categorically told on the same day that exactly. Supreme Court is supreme, but it is not infallible. And the Honorable Justice Verma wrote in his book, and we follow the Constitution, we respect the judiciary, but we have all right to question where we feel that there is some suspicious by the government. We have all right because the present government is always challenging the judiciary, the judicial system of the country.
By all means, you have the right to question. All of us have right to question. So now I want to cross-question you and ask you this. Fine. So you think that Justice Nazeer was possibly motivated. Were the other 4 judges also motivated according to you?
If a judge is getting instead after retiring, he's getting the Rajya Sabha berth, instead he's getting the NCTL chairmanship, we have all right to question. We are not living in monarchy. We are not living in a kingship. It's the Baba Sahib Ambedkar's constitution gave us all right to question everyone. Even we can challenge the Prime Minister of the country, President of the country. Although Prime Minister don't respond on the many issues, he don't respond on Adani, he don't respond on many other issues.
Answer this. Shazia Ilmi, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Yes. And here though, you've got the IMM saying you have fooled the country thrice. 3 judges from that bench.
So, first of all, let's go point-wise. He says, if anything appears suspicious, we would raise this. Now, why on earth does it appear suspicious is my question. Because of the judgment, because that is what has been quoted alongside the basis of this judgment and raising of these questions. So, is it suspicious because he favored, I mean, the judgment was favoring the Ram Janambhoomi verdict, which you think, which would actually affect BJP? I think, first of all, where the Ram Temple judgment goes, everybody has hailed it. It has been a very fair judgment. So, one, you're questioning the judgment itself. 2, you're questioning the workings of the Supreme Court. And third, you're accusing this honorable judge, who was a serving judge at that point of time, of bias and being politically motivated.
No, but to be fair, which is to say that they have always questioned it. Asaduddin Owaisi on the day the judgment came said that the Supreme Court is supreme, but it's not infallible. This is wrong. And today he's saying point proven. 2 years later, point proven, BJP ensured that the judgment would go their way.
I want to make another point. Justice... So, by the same logic, I would like to ask Owaisi, on the Triple Talaq judgment, it is Justice Nazeer who dissented. He went against the ordinance, and his was a dissenting voice in a 3:2 ratio. And he was a minority voice along with CJI of that time, Justice Keher. And he felt that this is interference with the right to religion. Then what does Owaisi say about that?
So Ram Temple,
I mean, do you realize?
Shazia raised you.
I mean,
Shazia quoting back to you the Triple Talaq judgment. Now,
Triple Talaq.
Ma'am, the same Triple Talaq judgment was came by BJP. Not even a single Muslim legislator, Muslim member of parliament, Muslim scholar, Muslim jurist was consulted. Not even a single Muslim member of parliament was consulted.
What are you shifting goalposts for? You were talking about Justice Nazeer basically being a quote-unquote parrot of the BJP. Then why is he not parroting the BJP's line in Triple Talaq?
Every person from the Muslim community, it was discussed. Huh? Why BJP can't force, can't dictate, BJP can't dictate on us. The country is, this country is a democratic setup. We have all right to oppose BJP. We have all right to oppose BJP and government.
You have the right to oppose everything, but at least people have the right to try and understand your logic.
Why BJP? We don't, you can't force us to follow the footsteps of BJP.
On Triple Talaq,
BJP always talks about सबका साथ सबका विकास, but 38% minority educational scholarship got down.
So Justice Nazeer's voice was a dissenting voice.
मेरे सब समझ में आ रहा है शाजिया मैडम, दरबारी आप कीजिए, हम दरबारी नहीं कर सकते हैं, मुझे सब समझ में आ रहा है अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
नहीं आप you can't answer the question.
Yes, I know, dissenting voice.
आप जवाब नहीं दे पा रहे हैं भाई साहब पर।
अच्छी बात है, अच्छी बात है,
उनको आप इधर-उधर भाग रहे हैं। आप ट्रिपल तलाक में
एकदम जवाब दे रहे हैं, आपको अच्छा से जवाब देने आता है।
हाँ, उसमें you respect him, पर राम जन्मभूमि you don't respect him. How convenient. How convenient.
सरकार से मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ, जो ट्रिपल तलाक का इन्होंने कानून लाया था, क्या सरकार ने किसी मुस्लिम जूरिस्ट से पूछा था? क्या सरकार ने किसी मुस्लिम एमपी से उस कमेटी में मशवरा लिया था?
Mr. Hassan, I don't know where you have gone from Justice Nazeer to talking to jurists to talking about MPs and MLAs, but let me bring in Amit Mir Magami also. Mr. Magami, now the biggest problem in the logic being offered is as following. We are told कि भाई Justice Nazeer, Justice Gogoi, Justice Bhushan, all of them were basically promised some riches or some positions after their retirement, and it has come true. Now the biggest problem is that the one man who was the biggest name who was on that bench is currently the Chief Justice of our country, Justice Chandrachud. Justice Chandrachud is the sole dissenting opinion in upholding the rights of 5 people arrested for Bhima Koregaon. Justice Chandrachud was the dissenter in the Aadhaar judgment, where he said that this was illegally passed as a money bill. So if you've got 3 judges who were influenced by the BJP, how did the Ram Temple verdict become a unanimous verdict? Unless Justice Chandrachud is also influenced, and we will find out soon.
Yeah. Loyalty always pays. As the matter of principle, we oppose it, we condemn it, and we do not agree with it at all.
No, it's great that you don't agree, but what's your logic? Your logic is today morning you were bemoaning, saying that, oh, Justice Nazeer has been rewarded. Now, if he has been rewarded, and Justice Bhushan has been rewarded, and Justice Gogoi has been rewarded, then surely even Justice Chandrachud would be rewarded, Justice Bobde would be rewarded. What is their reward then? And if they are already going to be rewarded in some time, why is Justice Chandrachud passing judgments against the government?
Well, it is clearly that BJP give a prize to the former judges for giving the ruling favor of the BJP.
But then why is Justice Chandrachud also ruled in favor of the BJP? It didn't rule in favor of the BJP, it ruled in favor of the Ram Temple. And then why did Justice Chandrachud also rule in favor of the Ram Temple, Mr. Magami?
Yeah, Ram Chandrachud, I think he will be the next.
He'll be the next. So if he'll be the next one to be rewarded, then why is he dissenting on major issues where the government's reputation is at stake? This has to be like the worst decision in order to impress the people who are going to reward you.
No, I'm here to talk about Justice Nazeer appointment.
I am here to talk about Justice Nazeer as well. But Justice Nazeer is being accused of doing something that Justice Chandrachud also did, which is ruling in favor of the Ram Temple. So if Justice Nazeer is guilty by association, so should Justice Chandrachud.
The next.
Sir, I think you need to go back to your drawing board because your conspiracy theory wasn't really well thought out. Maybe you would want to go back a little and rethink your conspiracy. Namit Saxena, maybe he's next. Maybe this is a balancing act. Who knows? Maybe this is a really Machiavellian government playing very Chanakya-like tactics with the Supreme Court and getting favorable verdicts.
See, I didn't know you had called astrologers on the panel today. They can predict the future like anything. But going back in the history, I'll tell you something very interesting. See, Abdul Nazeer is not the first retired judge who has been appointed as a governor. There was Justice Fazal Ali, there was Justice Fatima Bibi, there was Justice Satasium. Where was the BJP government then? BJP government was nowhere is one. Second, as the BJP spokesperson pointed out, apart from Triple Talaq, I'll tell you two more judgments where Justice Abdul Nazeer held against the government. One, the Aadhaar judgment. He was part of the 9-judge bench with the Aadhaar. Is privacy is a right, is a fundamental right in itself. Second, in the Maratha reservation also, he dissented and said, that the 102nd constitutional amendment is bad in law. Third, I'll give you another fact. See, the Triple Talaq judgment, there were 3 judges who held against Triple Talaq and said this is unconstitutional. Justice Lalit, Justice Rohinton Nariman and Justice Kurian Joseph. They all also did not get anything. Like, this whole conspiracy theory is being played out that Abdul Nazeer is getting, is becoming a governor of a particular state just because he was a part of the Ayodhya bench. Justice Bobde also did not get anything. And something far more interesting, Justice Chalameshwar was the dissenting judge in the NJC judgment. Then he held in favor of the NJC and in favor of the BJP government right away. Ayodhya judgment is not directly, the BJP anything. But Justice Chalameshwar also did not get anything, any post-retirement job or anything. So this is a complete facade. These are just crybabies who will come out, anything and everything which is done, they'll come out in public and start a hue cry. Okay, this particular gentleman is getting a post-retirement, any position just because he was a part of this particular bench. And if someone will not get it, they'll say this is, he belongs to a particular religion. That is why he has been completely outcasted and not being given anything. So this is just a complete facade. We have to move out of it, and this is completely baseless. Without knowing the credentials of Justice Abdul Nazeer as to what an excellent judge he was.
And while the reputation of former judges are being, broad stroke tainted like this, the political question also is Anirban Banerjee. For example, let's talk about the Congress. Today, Rashid Alvi says that now the Ram Janmabhoomi verdict is under a cloud. On the day the verdict came, Kamal Nath and Digvijay Singh said, great verdict. In fact, Mandir ka dwar to hum hi ne khulwaya tha under Rajiv Gandhi. So on the day the verdict came, they are like, our victory. Now when 2 years have passed, they are saying, verdict was stolen, or verdict was manipulated, or verdict was influenced. So you can't run with the hare and hunt with the hound.
See, it's not just that Caesar must be above suspicion, Caesar's wife must also be above suspicion, and even Hammurabi should also be above suspicion. Therefore, when we are speaking about the judiciary, that we have to even discuss an issue like this, that of the appointments post-retirement, whether they ruled in favor of the government in some cases or against the government in some cases, that is a completely different issue.
No,
but
it's
this
not.
very fact that
it
there
is
might
logic.
be a cloud.
It is logic and it is fact. Why is it a different issue? Because when you are trying to float a conspiracy theory, again, like I said, Mr. Banerjee, hold on a second. Like I said right at the outset, should there be a cooling off period in principle? Absolutely yes. Should there be a law against post-retirement sinecures being enjoyed by people, especially in very influential positions? Absolutely yes. But why do people think of this only when they are in opposition? What has stopped the same political parties from bringing in a law? What stops Mr. Owaisi even now from bringing in a private member's bill to that effect? Because this is not about propriety. This is about the politics of this appointment. And that needs to be called out. You can't politicize an appointment, float a conspiracy theory, and when questioned on the logic of that conspiracy theory says, oh, I don't want to discuss this, that's another issue. It is the issue. You floated a conspiracy, now prove it. Prove your conspiracy theory. If Justice Abdul Nazeer was manipulated by the BJP by being promised a governor's post, prove your conspiracy theory.
Well, I haven't floated any theory. I have only got a few questions. So why won't the BJP, first of all, abide by their own former leaders and present leaders' political positions on this very matter? Before questioning the opposition of the day, what is stopping anybody from questioning the government itself?
Sir,
you are speaking about
again,
the cooling off period.
I am saying this right at the outset. What Mr. Jaitley said should be followed. The government should bring in a law like this and everyone should agree.
What is stopping the government from following it?
But again, sir, I am agreeing with you. So there is no debate there. This is not even up for a debate. My question is, if today this farcical connection to the Ram Temple verdict is being made, what is the basis of that connection? That's my question.
My answer is, three of the judges in that particular verdict, they have already been reinstated post-retirement, including Mr. Nazeer. And on the day he was given the governor post, the four other people who were also given the governor post were directly BJP leaders. And in 2021, in one of our RSS affiliated programs, Honorable Justice, he was acting Justice in the Supreme Court, Mr. Nazeer, he appeared and he opined that the Indian legal system is completely inappropriate for the Indian population. Therefore, when you connect the dots in law, there's a theory called preponderance of probabilities. Therefore, when you have the opportunity to connect the dots, there is a certain picture that appears which actually indicates to us proving whatever theory, conspiracy or not, that you are referring to.
Shazia Ilmi, connecting the dots, going right from Justice Bobde to you had Victoria Gauri, who's a Mahila Morcha member, being elevated as a judge, and now this, just connecting the dots.
So, the preceding speaker's legal gobbledygook aside, when you take into example and you mention Arun Jaitley's words that post-retirement benefits should not be kept in mind before retirement, there is a presumption and an assumption that this particular justice, who is now the Honorable Governor of Andhra Pradesh, was indeed motivated by this, which is the basis and which has formed the basis of that judgment, along with four others. Now that itself, I think, is really damning and a horrible comment on how these opposition feels about the government. For me, I cannot imagine that everything has to be politicized. Why? But opposition does not need an opportunity. Opposition. I want to ask you the question. No, because if the opposition's job, if the opposition...
No, why is the BJP so hell-bent on bringing the Ram Mandir
but I just quoted on punishing Justice Nazeer for ruling in favor of the Ram Temple. It's almost like Namit Saxena. The suggestion is that this person has to be left out in the wild, has to be left out in the cold. Otherwise, it will be seen as a bad judgment on his part. And just by the way, it is such an unfair comment to make on Justice Nazeer to suggest that had he given a fair judgment, he would have gone against the Ram Mandir at Ayodhya. Is that what the general suggestion is? I will also quote to you very interestingly, Anirban Banerjee, what was said at the time of Justice Nazeer's retirement. Senior advocate Vikas Singh actually said that Justice Nazeer placed the nation first, him as a judge second, and as an individual last. We also had Justice Chandrachud, who said at that time, Justice Nazeer was not the one who would be neutral between right and wrong, but he stood for what is right. We shared the Ayodhya bench and we worked together and we delivered a decision together. But Namit Saxena, it's almost as if being on that bench is something that Justice Nazeer must be punished for today. He should not get any post, otherwise he will be seen as suspicious.
See, this is this new trend which has developed, lately, of accusing judges, pre-retirement or post-retirement, both, by the judgments which they are delivering. See, there's this new parameter which these crybabies have developed, that if a particular judge is giving any judgment directly or indirectly in favor of, the government or the ruling establishment, that judge is declared to be pro-government, and the complete judiciary is declared to be a committed judiciary. And if that judge, because of his own credentials, see, Justice Abdul Nazeer has excellent credentials. He is a first-generation lawyer. He worked extremely hard, and rather in his retirement speech, he said so that I have this duck syndrome. People see that there is this duck floating on the water, but they don't see, the efforts which I have put down the stream to come up and work so hard. So these crybabies will create a facade, and you judge, a particular judge with the parameter of deciding either in favor or against the ruling establishment. That is the new criteria. Leaving apart all the credentials we have.
ये ऐसे जज हैं जो कि बिल्कुल जमीन से जुड़े हुए हैं, वो कर्नाटका से आए हैं, गरीब परिवार से आए हैं, यहां अपने दम पे पहुंचे हैं, और अब कहना कि भाई उनको तो सिर्फ रिवॉर्ड किया जा रहा है। इंटरेस्टिंग ऑल्सो बिकॉज असदुद्दीन ओवैसी साहब सबसे ज्यादा कहते हैं कि भाई मुसलमानों को ज्यादा रिप्रेजेंटेशन मिलना चाहिए। तो अगर आज कोई somebody from a minority community is being represented in the governor's office, उनको राजभवन भेजा जा रहा है, you should be happy. This is representation.
Why should we talk about minority representation? तो आप जिसको चाहिए उसको बैठा दीजिएगा। आरिफ मोहम्मद खान साहब क्या कर रहे हैं केरला में?
तो आप
हर दिन सरकार से उनकी लड़ाई चल रही है,
माइनॉरिटी है, कौन बैठेंगे, उसका सर्टिफिकेट भी आप देंगे सर।
सर्टिफिकेट देंगे आप टीवी शो पे सर्टिफिकेट दीजिएगा,
तो आप देंगे क्या सर्टिफिकेट कि AIMIM जो ठप्पा लगाएगा वही असली मुसलमान है, उसी को मिलनी चाहिए सीट। शाजिया इल्मी रिप्रेजेंटेटिव नहीं है, आरिफ मोहम्मद खान रिप्रेजेंटेटिव नहीं है, जस्टिस नजीर रिप्रेजेंटेटिव नहीं है, एक अकेले आप ही हैं।
सबसे सवाल किया जाएगा
शाजिया इल्मी जो कुछ मुस्लिम आइडेंटिटी की बात नहीं करेगा, अलगाववाद की बात नहीं करेगा, सेपरेट इंडिविजुअलिटी की और आइडेंटिटी की बात नहीं करेगा, वो इस लायक नहीं है। जो ओवैसी की एनीबडी who is part of the very sectarian politics of Owaisi ji will be considered a good Muslim. Who are you to judge? Who on earth are you to judge? नौजुबिल्लाह खुदा हैं आप, हैं कौन आप जो कहेंगे मुसलमान ऐसा होना चाहिए या वैसा होना चाहिए, या भारतीय ऐसा होना चाहिए, भारतीय वैसा होना चाहिए? हिम्मत कैसे आपकी बोलने की? आप मेरी फिक्र ना कीजिए, आप क्या हैं, आप क्या हैं, आप क्या अपने बारे में बताइए। और आप क्या, आप ओवैसी के उसमें, आप ओवैसी की बात कीजिए ना, फिर आप ओवैसी क्या है, किस तरह की आइडेंटिटी को आप कर रहे हैं?
सवाल का जवाब देना आता है, मुसलमानों सवाल का अधिकार है उन्हें, ये भारत का लोकतंत्र है, संविधान ने उन्हें अधिकार दिया है।
तो इसका मतलब है कि वो डिसाइड करेंगे कौन अच्छा मुसलमान है, कौन बुरा मुसलमान है, कौन अच्छा भारतीय है।
हम सरकार से आंख मिला
जी, आपको जवाब तो पता नहीं भाई साहब, आप ये तक तो जानते नहीं थे कि ट्रिपल तलाक के मामले में आपको ये तक तो पता नहीं था भाई साहब। अरे भाषण ना दीजिए, मौजू पर आपको पता नहीं है कुछ तो चुप रहिए।
अरे बहन, बड़ी बहन, ट्रिपल तलाक में किसी भी मुस्लिम MP से, किसी भी मुस्लिम जूरिस्ट से इन्होंने मशवरा नहीं लिया था।
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I think it is amply clear before the people what the real politics behind all of these questions being raised are. Again, let me end by saying that in principle, to maintain public faith and trust in all of these very responsible positions, can there be a consensus? Should there be a consensus on how post-retirement sinecures should be phased out, if not being done away with altogether? Absolutely yes. But to try and attribute motives purely because of these appointments, that is politics that must be avoided. Thanks all gentlemen and Shazia Ilmi for joining me.